Our last dimension is the sensory dimension of autism spectrum disorder. The reason for that is this is the area that is least known about. The severest expression of a sensory sensitivity is that when the child appears to be living in a war zone with sudden explosions of jarring noises, visual sensations that are blinding, and touch and aromas that are perceived as painful. The child might be hypervigilant in anticipation of the next sensory bombardment or sensory overload. The next step on the continuum of sensory is including a lack of visible responses to some sensory experiences. For example, a child may not communicate pain when injured or indicate medical problems as severe as a fracture. Some children do not appear to have any discomfort as being cold and are able to walk into a lake in sub-zero temperatures. When sensory sensitivity is a dominant characteristic of autism, the child can develop maladaptive strategies to control his environment in order to avoid specific sensory experiences, such as running from a supermarket because of the noise of the refrigeration units. Sensory sensitivity can also lead to the development of anxiety, as a child can never be sure when a potential terrifying sensory experience will occur. Parents have used the term sensory meltdowns when sensory experiences have been overwhelming and unavoidable. After thinking of all that, let's talk about statistics of autism spectrum disorder. For example, back in 2000, it shows that we had 1 in 166 people that were diagnosed with ASAD. Now in 2010, we are at the point that it's 1 in 68. The umbrella of ASAD holds many different classifications, but the improvement in technology to help improve testing is providing doctors with more information, which leads to more people being diagnosed with some form of ASAD, which is very important to take in consideration. Another statistics, still looking at the 1 out of 68, is 4 times more boys than girls are identified with autism. While the disorder is consistent despite culture and ethnicity, there is one area that there is a disparity with the diagnosis. Across the gender lines, the males tend to be affected far more frequently than females. The average ratio in autism spectrum disorder between both males and females is a 4.2 to 1, meaning that for every 1 female diagnosed with an autism spectrum disorder, 4.2 males will be receiving a diagnosis. While the overall rate of autism is 1 in every 68 people, females receive a diagnosis at a rate of every 1 in 315. Alternatively, 1 in every 70 males will receive a diagnosis, which is coincidentally very close to the overall rate. So keeping that in mind, our boys get diagnosed more than girls, but if you recall with the Rett syndrome, those are only for girls. So here's an activity that you could do with your classroom to try to help out. It's called a puzzle piece project. There are certain items that you need, but the key thing here is ultimate awareness is symbolized by a puzzle piece. So the puzzle piece project is a great way to provide all students opportunity to demonstrate their own uniqueness. We all need to fit together, and we all are very unique. The puzzle project is an excellent way to provide students a chance to recognize themselves and their classmates for their own uniqueness. The way to complete the project is to use a pattern to symbolize the uniqueness of each student, have each student personalize their puzzle piece, and then display the pieces placed together, which is the complete picture of how the unique personalities of our school are a unique whole. So this is a nice one just to provide students a chance to see that we all have a uniqueness about us. It doesn't matter if we have ASAD or if we are just someone that plays sports or someone in the band. So this is just a nice project. Another thing is dealing with sensory overload, which I have another video for you. So let me pull that up here so you can see that video. This is a short one. It's dealing with an elementary class that they tried to show a little bit of how it happens. I'm not going to show you all of it, but I'll show you a good portion of it.
I'm going to give you 20 seconds. And in this 20 seconds, you can turn the sheet around and just try to do as many math problems as you can. Are you ready? And I'm going to count. Okay, go.
All right, the reason for that video is to really get you to realize what's happening there. They had so many different things going on, and the students that weren't participating in making the noises were trying to complete a math worksheet. So sensory overload, can you do that? So it's an awesome thing for someone to try to provide students awareness that, you know, when other things are going on, we can't have that going on. One last video is this one here dealing with a girl named Carly, just trying to provide you what it's like to be in a coffee shop and having the disorder happening. So here we go.
I can't wait for a coffee. Oh, hello, barista.
What do you girls want?
Skim soy latte? Darren, soy can't be skim.
Hot chocolate, orange juice.
No, Dad, I want a coffee. Hot chocolate? Great.
So I was thinking of going to Sarah's later. Could you give me a ride?
Yeah, sure. Are you cool with taking your sister?
Yeah.
Wait, what? I have my own plan.
Carly.
Okay, I'll see you tonight, okay?
Carly. How can I help?
There are times that you want to know how to help, but you really can't. So every student has their different ways, but just these videos, I thought they were giving you an overview of what a sensory overload would be. Some ways that we can help students would be, first of all, understanding some behavior management ideas that can help students. So here are a couple of key ones, but I'll give you some more within this. So behavior management is a very important component and needs as much intervention as academic or classroom management. It's important. So providing a clear structure and a set of daily routines. Using clear language, avoiding humor and irony, or phrases like, my feet are killing me, or it's raining cats and dogs. Sometimes students don't understand those. Make clear no's or firm behaviors which are acceptable or unacceptable. Avoid sentences like, would you like to do this? Or why did you do that? It is always more beneficial to give a child some choices. Address the child individually at all times, or by using alert cues as everyone and the child's name, please put your notebooks away. Keep visual timetables, which are great resources for helping children stay organized. Recognize changes in manner or behavior that may reflect anxiety or stress, such as talking loudly, pacing rooms, flapping hands, collar biting. It's important to identify the triggers and address them. Of course, calm with mindfulness and breathing exercises, very good to use on students. Utilizing sensory inputs such as playing with a sensory ball or a squeeze ball or trampoline or jumping and rocking. These are all different behaviors that calm different students down. Classroom situations with children with autism can be overwhelming at many times. However, success is possible if you plan and utilize strategies. The golden rule is not to do something once or twice, but consistently for things to fall into place. Students need that repetition. They need that structure. Other things to help a student in the learning environment. These are just some key things for anybody to be able to use, such as giving prompts, a key word for a child to get started on a writing piece, and be prepared that it may take 2 or 3 drafts before it is completely done. Highlighting is an important thing. Increase the font size, allow more spacing. It helps to unclutter the student. providing 2 or 3 choices to foster independence, but not too many. It could lead to confusion. Strive for quality rather than quantity. The smaller the assignments are broken down, the easier they can chunk it and they stay calm and focused. Make positive comments such as, "It's going well," "You're doing fine," "Well done." Kids with autism need boosted self-esteem just like any other student. Provide a movement free for 3 to 5 minutes to help children recover. Some children experience sensory overloads and they need a chance to have that break. While talking about implementing adjustments to daily schedules, make sure you tell them about the changes that might be happening because of different events. Also, alerting cues that this is important and it might be helpful with focusing. Help a child develop eye contact, but keep in mind some students have visual focuses that they cannot do and auditory at the same time, so they can't do both. Reward attention and timely accomplishments. Of course, place a child at the front or the back depending on the sensitivity, and give one direction at a time because multiple instructions can be too much for a child to handle. Quietly repeating directions to him or herself gives the rest of the class. Using a variety of materials and mediums that's autism students, it can be too stimulating for all of this. So please keep your task down to different checkpoints. And of course, minimizing distraction materials such as extra pens and papers and colors. Less clutter is better for them. Undoubtedly, this isn't easier said than done because, however, it is impossible. In the learning process, while understanding children with autism, there is no fixed strategy that will work as no two individuals are alike, which is mostly forgotten. We have all been trying to find the child in the curriculum rather than making the curriculum suit the child's needs. Each child with autism brings different abilities, challenges, and self-esteem issues. I firmly believe that if we nurture, it will make a positive impact on the child and learning in a big way. All it requires is sensitivity, patience, self-reflection, introspect, and a proactive approach with lots of positivity and understanding. So in reflecting on this, when a child has ASID, they process information much differently from a typical developing child. These kids tend to notice the details of a situation and have trouble organizing and retrieving them later on. Problems with executive functioning in autism are common, and they affect certain cognitive abilities. So children with autism may experience mild or severe executive function challenges, and there are a variety of ways that difficulties can impact their daily lives, such as trouble maintaining thoughts, organizing issues, getting stuck on ideas, and of course, difficulty seeing the larger picture. But the key thing in this, if you can teach any child, you just got to take the time and remember there is no such thing as a classic case of autism. We want to provide them a time to be able to reflect and to know that it's important for them to work on all those ideas and get organized. I thank you for your time on this. And as we wrap up here, I just have to go through the last 10 questions of my post-assessment. Again, they're just multiple choice. So here we go. Number 1, what is autism? A, affects the way a child sees and interacts with the rest of the world. B, autism is a developmental disability, which usually begins before 3 years of age and is a lifelong disability. C, autism affects the functioning of the brain and impacts the social interaction and communication skills. D, all of the above. Number 2, people with autism have a normal lifespan. True or false? Number 3, presently there is a known single cause for autism. True or false? 4, autism is 4 to 5 times more prevalent in females than in males. True or false? 5, common characteristics of autism include difficulty relating with people. B, laughing for no reason, repetitive behavior. D, non-very intelligent. E, a selective hearing and may act deaf. And F, extremely sensitive sound, touch, taste, and sight. Again, mark all that up here. Number 6, genetics may be a factor of causing autism. True or false? Number 7, children with autism frequently prefer to keep a strict order around themselves. True or false? Number 8, there's no straightforward test to determine whether or not a child has autism. Number 9, people with Asperger's syndrome have A, below average intelligence, B, at least average intelligence, C, exceptionally high intelligence. And number 10, autism affects all the areas except social interaction, growth, nonverbal communication, and verbal communication. I thank you for your time. Here are the answers to that